This video is on how to document your work, whether it is 2D or 3D or drawing, painting, sculpture, and you are submitting to something on an online platform, whether it's an application for a competition, college apps, and you want to properly document your work so you can submit it. This is the right video on how to learn how to photograph, whether it's from your phone or camera. So I'll go through both options, whether you have a camera or not, that is all right. And right now you can see on the screen timestamps of what this video covers. So if you're at this video and need a specific thing to cover, whether it's photographing your sculpture, photographing your painting, your drawings, you can hop to that point in the video right now by clicking below in the timestamps. So here's just an overview of tips on what to do and where to photograph when you are documenting your art. So the first thing is you should go near a window, whether it's sunny or not. That is all right, and I'll explain why in a second. But you want to use natural lighting when documenting your work. And the ideal time actually to photograph your work is on a cloudy day, because you would think it would be sunny, but because when it's cloudy, that means the light is evenly distributed outside, and when the light comes through the window, there's no patches of light or an uneven distribution of light. So ideally cloudy. It's a little bit sunny now, and that's all right. All right, so now you can see that I'm near the window and I'm ready to photograph. I decided to put my piece that I'm photographing right now on a chair. That way, because when I had it on the ground, it was a little bit too dark down here, but it's still close to the window, but not in direct sunlight, and everything is evenly lit. So the first thing I'm doing right now is I'm gonna photograph this 2D piece with my phone. So I have the camera app open. The main thing that you want to do when you're photographing with your phone with 2D art is make sure you are above it enough, above whatever you're photographing, so you capture it all, but then include a border, so I'm still going to see the chair when I'm taking this photo. So right now I am directly above, probably like a foot or a foot and a half, with my phone, and have it centered. Okay, so I took it, and this is what the original image looks like. So you can see it right here. And the next thing I want to do right now is crop it. So I'm going just to manually crop it, and this way it's really hard to photograph like perfectly. It just does not fit into the frame. So it's best to manually crop your art, and you can even rotate it. If it's a little bit crooked, that's all right. And that way I can get all of the information in the piece, but still include it and not miss anything. So right now I photographed this piece and it's ready to upload, so whatever I am submitting to. And you could see too, make sure you're not moving your phone around too much, because I can zoom in and still see details, which is really important to make sure that you're getting those details for whatever you're submitting to, that it's not blurry at all or out of focus. So right now I'm going to photograph the same thing, but with my camera. So if you have a T3 provided by the school, I would recommend using this instead of your phone, just because you'll get better quality with your images. So I am photographing on manual mode. I'll probably photograph, I'm gonna set my shutter speed probably to around 125. I want my ISO pretty low, so let's keep it at 200 so there's not much grain or noise. And then let's just do a test shot. So white balance is in the shade. Again, same thing, make sure you're photographing from right above. And for these images, you'll have to pull them into Lightroom. So I'm going to take this a couple times. I'm going to pull them into Lightroom so I can recrop them and do the orientation portion of this process just on in Creative Cloud. So you can see here a little bit, but I'll pull these images up on the screen right now. how they look, and then what you're seeing right now on the screen is after I rotated it and recropped it in Lightroom. So that's what the image looks like if I were to be submitting this to an online platform. Okay, so now I am going to document a 3D piece. So this is a piece that my aunt made. It's a clay piece that I want to document all angles and make sure I have a set of images that best capture the details of this. So 3D is a little bit more challenging just because it's not flat, and you need more than one image to best capture it. And right now what I'm doing is I'm putting this sheet down on the same chair that I photographed the piece. I actually ended up having to iron this, just like a small portion of it of what's going to appear in this image, because it was so wrinkly. So maybe get something that doesn't have too many wrinkles in it, whether it's a sheet or a blanket, and you can then set your piece down on it on the chair. Depending on the size, you might actually need to do this on the floor if your sculpture is larger than something that can fit on a chair. Right now I'm going to start with my phone. So now I can take the image like this. So I'm photographing it in a way that captures all the angles. So instead of just moving around, because you'll see here now I have not this background, but I'm facing the window, that I can just rotate this and keep it in the same spot and keep my camera in the same spot too. So I'm just going to keep photographing from different angles, and you'll see on the screen right here how these images are turning out, so I can get every angle of it. And then once you do a full rotation, what I would do is turn it back to the front and do some above angles, so some bird's eye angles, some detail shots, so maybe a close-up of here. Okay, so now that I have my camera and I'm photographing my 3D art, or this is actually my aunt's work that I'm photographing right now, I am doing a number of things right here. I have my tripod, so this way I'm not picking up any shakiness from from holding the camera, and that way too when I rotate the sculpture, instead of rotating from angle to angle, I'm just rotating this and keeping the camera in place, so the setting is cohesive, so every image frame is the exact same background. And another thing too is it's a little bit later in the day, so my settings right now on the screen you'll see right here are 1/50th of a second. The f-stop is 4.5, so it's a generally shallow aperture, and my ISO is at 400 just because it's not as much lighting as from my 2D design. And since I'm below 1/60th of a second too, this is a good way to make sure that everything stays clear and in focus and I'm not getting any camera shakiness in my images. So I'm photographing this and rotating. You'll see right now are the images on the screen of each photo, and this way I'm capturing every angle of the sculpture. And then now that I have every angle, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and just do close-ups. Make sure I'm facing the window to get that natural light, and I'm just going to do detail shots so I have a range of images. Even a bird's eye view would be nice. Thank you for watching this video. The purpose of this video was to go over documentation, and I just want to say documentation is not only important for applications and applying to things, but also to have your own digital archive of the artwork you're creating. So let's say 10 years from now you want to go back and see, like, what was I creating in 2020, whether it was your drawings, paintings, sculpture. You can refer back to it and have one place that like documents all of your stuff. And this is a practice that's important for all artists, but then just also for yourself to create an archive and see and reflect on your own process as you're constantly going to be evolving as an artist. So I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate it.